Hello everyone and welcome to UPSCprep.com. Now we'll see GS4 ethics and case study strategy. This will be a very important session for all those who have not yet started with the ethics planning or have done it but not convincingly enough. How do we approach a GS4 ethics paper and how do we make sure that we score among the highest? My name is Nimish Kapur and we'll discuss about ethics and case study strategy, which is GS4. So let's begin with it. So you know that ethics GS4 paper is what? 250 marks. And how the questions are divided? Usually we have 6 case studies of 20 marks each. 120 marks. And 130 marks are theoretical understanding, ethics and related concepts based questions. So if you would have seen previous year questions, you would get a fair idea that how the marks are distributed. But then the theoretical understanding of ethical concepts is very important. These are a prerequisite before writing a good case, approaching case studies in a correct way. So why ethics was included as an exam by UPSC? So as you know, this exam chooses the civil servants and diplomats for the country. And to be ethically upright is the most important aspect, because only then they can serve the nation in best of their capacities. An ethically correct, morally upright, full of integrity, honesty. These are some of the very important virtues of a civil servant. And that is what the papers try to check in form of your understanding of it. How would you approach a problem? So civil service is a vital institution in the country. It is the administrative backbone of the nation. Civil service officers play a pivotal role in the policy formulation and execution. Absolutely. Even though a minister is the one who eventually agrees to it, but it is the civil services which discusses the legislation, publishes the rules, everything. Their roles have a profound and direct influence on citizens. Therefore, it is imperative that civil service maintain transparency and honesty. So the officer should exemplify highest standards of integrity, honesty and meticulousness. Now, what should be the approach for General Studies, Paper 4, Ethics and Case Studies? First and foremost, understand the syllabus. You have to familiarize yourself with the syllabus first. What constitutes ethics, integrity, aptitude paper? What will be covered in the exam? Then you go into the syllabus by studying those topics. You build a strong foundation by understanding the basic concepts. What is ethics, morality, integrity, aptitude, probity, etc. The real life scenarios, examples. And it is not about remembering the definition. It's understanding the meaning in your own language. Study material. You should have an access to good standard book, good study material, which will help you to understand these basic concepts along with some of the good examples, which simplifies firstly your understanding so that you in an exam can present it in the most simplified way. Then case studies practice. Once you've gone through the basic understanding, practicing solving case studies and on ethical dilemmas, real life situations is very important, because over the period of time it will help you develop your own analytical and decision making skills. You have to understand situations from multiple perspectives. Current affairs. Current affairs are very important for even GS paper 4. It gives you some of the recent developments, their ethical dimensions, ethical issues involved in them. Case studies also related to governance, public administration, social issues, like a district collector did an amazing job in one of the districts, or a district collector or magistrate or an administrative officer in one of the districts were caught red-handed taking a bribe. These are the lessons, the examples you can quote. Previous year papers, solving them are very, very important. It'll help you to understand what kind of questions are asked, be it the basics of ethics or the case studies, and accordingly help you prepare. It'll help you be more confident about the overall syllabus. Writing practice is very important because more you write, you'll be able to express your thoughts better in the real exam scenario, and it helps you to, once you start writing practice in real time, you'll not struggle to comprehend and understand the points you have to include in a particular kind of an answer. Then we come to mock tests and feedback. Mock tests are very, very important, and the feedback which you have provided in the mock test, they become very important to improve. So the feedback from mentors, teachers, those who are checking your papers, and also peers help you to identify the areas of improvement and refine your strategy accordingly. One more thing which should be promoted is the discussions on the ethical dilemmas. What it does is it will help you broaden your perspective and develop critical thinking skills. Revision is very important. Firstly, the revision of the concepts, one. Then, some of the examples which you can include. What will help you is to get clear idea of what the concept is about. And then case studies, to also practicing case studies to reinforce that learning and retain information effectively. All right. So what this paper is about and what should be done? Well, this paper is your understanding of ethics, not the understanding of ethics. It's your understanding. What you just take your name. Let's say I'm Nimish. What is Nimish's understanding of ethics? Similarly, you take your name. What you are thinking of morality? What is virtues? What are probity in civil services for you? Because the examiner wants to see you in that exam, your opinion, your understanding, how you're comprehending it. This paper should reflect your ethics. This paper is not being idle. Oh, I'll do this. In case studies, I've often seen students talking about I'll do this, everything which is not even possible at that role. It is about being practical. It is about being pragmatic. This paper is also about your experiences and how you perceived it. Examiner should see what X stands for. You stand for. If you're an honest person, the same will reflect in your answers and shall be awarded good marks. Remember, we are all aspiring to become civil servants. Thus, our outlook and thought process should reflect some responsibility. Okay? What this paper is not about and what should not be done. Well, you need not study ethics for hours. It's not about I have to cram stuff. I have to cram that concept. No. You just have to understand. So remember, it's not about reading for hours and hours on ethics. Ethics is getting an understanding of a concept. You need not study for hours and hours daily like you do for GS. You should not study complex ethical jargons. That I'll throw some jargons, some of the complex terminologies, and examiner will be happy. No. Examiner will respect the simplicity and simplify how easily you explain a particular concept with the good examples. That is what, because they want to see you in it. You should not start mugging up quotes, thinkers, catchy line just to impress the examiner. And do not force morality in your answers. Even if it is not, I will try to be honest. That honesty should be reflected in your answer. Okay, it should not be reflected in your explicitly that I am being honest. It is hard to do and looks artificial too as well. So if you look at the syllabus of ethics, first let's look at what constitutes the standard, or you can say the theoretical part of ethics in ethics syllabus. Ethics and human interface, which includes the sense, determinants, consequences of ethics, also has human values. Then you have attitude related topics, aptitude and foundational values for civil services, emotional intelligence. Okay, thereafter you have contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and the world. You have public civil service values and ethics in public administration. You have probity in governance, and then all these topics, case studies on the above issues. So, where do we start from? How do we approach this paper? What are the stepwise approach? We will discuss that now. Well, before that, the number one thing is source. Be very clear about source. Okay, you might have a standard book, fine, which you've read it multiple times over. But the UPSC prep content is very much to the point. The idea is to make you aware about the concept. It is just a reference of content, just how we approach. So what is ethics, essence, scope, very basic language. With examples, we try to cover all the topics given in the syllabus clearly. So it'll help you be aware. And then what we integrate is the answer craft. How do we, so this GS4 answer craft, we understand that how we can have a stepwise approach to scoring the highest, improving scores in our GS4. So in this answer craft, there is a stepwise approach, and this stepwise approach we will be talking one by one. So this stepwise approach to ethics, let's begin with this. And what is step 1? Step 1 is importance of PYQs. Now these PYQs will help you understand the exam pattern, that what to expect, what should I write. Also, but firstly, if I go through all 10-12 years of PYQs, okay, that these are the kind of questions being asked. They are going to check me this way. They are going to check my understanding of this context, this concept this way. It'll help you identify some of the important topics. It'll help you familiarize with question styles. It'll help in developing your answer writing skills once you practice the PYQs. And also it'll help you gain the examiner's perspectives insight, that what is UPSC trying to check. That will, that insight will really help you. Step 2 is understanding the cross connections. So the questions are not one dimensional, directly, this and that, but also the cross connections between various concepts. Candidates need to demonstrate a comprehensive understanding of various ethical concepts, their implication and complex relations they share. So given are two examples, two questions which have been asked in past. Is conscience a more reliable guide when compared to laws, rules and regulations? Conscience on the one hand and laws, rules, regulations on the other. Probity is essential for an effective system of governance and socio-economic development. Probity in one hand and governance on the other. This is how, it is important that we also, when we revise, when we understand, when we practice PYQs, we start also understanding the cross connections and accordingly develop our understanding. Then step 3 is very important, time management and prioritizing attempt. Remember, 250 marks paper, there are 130 marks is ethics theory into multiple questions. So they are not like 5 questions, 6 questions, they are multiple questions. Then 6 case studies which are firstly very lengthy. If you ask anyone who's written ethics paper, will tell you that time management is a very essential part. So whenever you do mock tests or practice, make sure you're doing it within time limit. And prioritize attempt. Once you are sure of that this will fetch me good marks because I'm very much aware, you can attempt those first and then come to the other later. What will also do is that by the time you'll come to the other topics which you're not very confident, by that time you'll have flow in answer writing and you can attempt that well as well. Step 4 is writing a good introduction, and that is important. So the introduction to a ethical question can be either statistical introduction can be given, quotation or anecdotal introduction, a quotation, or just a definition based. Okay, these are the ways where you can introduce well. Then should we write now a very common question? Sir, should we write our answers in paragraphs or should we write in points? Well, that depends on the kind of question. Both paragraph and point-wise approaches are correct and can be followed as per demand of the question and the structure of the answer. Let's say there's a question which has two subparts. I'd rather prefer be writing in two subheadings and then subpoints. So one heading, then second heading, then subpoints. That could be a better approach. On the other hand, if there is one concept then I can go with the intro, the paragraph about, and then example, any, and conclude. So it depends on the kind of question, demand of the question. Step 6 is structuring the answers. Now, what constitutes a structure? Introduction we've talked about, but in answer body theory, examples, diagrams, see, not all are necessary. It's what constitutes a body. It can be one or all, depends upon what. So it can be 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, depending on kind of question. So in a body, there can be theory, has to be theory certainly, but can be examples, diagrams. Also make sure you underline important portions to draw attention of the examiner. Okay, that this is what I want you to emphasize upon. And then you end with the conclusion. So I was talking about subheadings and underlining. Now this is a very important part in your answer writing in GS4. Now what subheadings do is it improves clarity and precision, that this is what I'm targeting, and it draws the attention that this is what I'm just focusing upon, leading to comprehensive and well-structured answer. It acts as signpost. This is what it is, guiding the examiner through response and ensuring key points are covered. It prevents digressions, that if I know that what I'm writing about, I'll not digress to any other topic. So it maintains to the point approach and provide clear and organized structure. Underlining, on the other hand, help emphasize key points and highlight essential information, making the answer more organized and readable. Again, it guides examiners' attention to main areas and enhances clarity, facilitates quick reviewing, significantly improving overall comprehension of written response. Using and preparing diagrams is a very important part in your answer writing, not just in GS4, elsewhere as well in GS1, 2, 3. So diagrams, maps, flowchart can be used when there is limited time. When there is content is sparse, like you have more content, but then you want to make it to the point. Space management, to manage your space, and also to enhance presentation of your answers. This is where diagrams, maps, or flowcharts can be used. And it helps in condensing complex information, improving clarity, illustrating relationship or connections. It saves time. It engages readers visually also. So this is where diagrams, flowcharts, maps are extremely helpful. Now step 9 is clear and precise writing with examples. Now on your left is a question which was attempted by Vishakha Yadav in one of the practice questions, who was All India rank 6 in CSE 2019. So the question is, what is the relationship between ethics and law? Explain with examples. Now if you see the clarity, relationship between them, directly clear with examples, relationship, example. So this clear and precise writing with example helps in inclusion of examples. It helps in strengthening the arguments. See, it is not just I know the information, but I know that within these examples, those are well reflected. That shows my better understanding. It provides concrete evidence to support the points made. So step 10 is writing a good conclusion. On your right again, as you can see, there's Shubham Kumar, All India rank 1 of CSE 2020. There's one practice question in which how he concluded. While civil servants have the legal right to undertake post-retirement jobs, it raises key ethical issues comment. Now how he's concluded that he's created, so with increasing nexus between bureaucrats, government and corporates, we need reforms so that civil service remains impartial and objective. So why this is a good conclusion? Because it mentions ethical traits, impartiality and objectivity, which are essential for civil. So a good conclusion is very important in providing closure to the argument. It can be approached by proposing innovative ideas, lessons learned, possible solution, related quote, way forward. These all can be part of a good conclusion. What it does, it leaves an impact before examiner scores. Yeah, I got an ending to that answer, so I'll score it well. Yes, 6 out of 10. Okay, this is how examiner also thinks. Step 11 is measure improvements. Now, depending on the review you get, firstly, self-review in any early process when you started writing, review your own answers with some kind of model answers. Ask peers to review, or you can look at peer answers and then review your own again. Faculty reviews are very important, and continuous validation in this process, depending on the reviews, will help you significantly increase your score in GS4. So finally, validation for GS4 is very, very important. So what constitutes good validation? Quotes, examples and best practices, civil servant examples, book references, committee recommendations, important recommendations, second ARC report, contemporary issues and ethics. These all are part of value addition. Now, how do you improve that? Of course, I've shown you the answer craft. In answer craft, if you come across, you will find all these examples. Also, the current affairs is a very important way to improve value addition in GS, particularly GS4. And when I come to case studies, remember, you're not expected to have an ideal approach. As I said, pragmatic, practical approach is appreciated. Now, one of the very important things, whatever role you're given in the case study, it requires that how you're making a decision. It is the ethical traits which are reflected in the decision making which is looked into by the examiner. So remember that whichever role, primarily whatever role is given, it could be district magistrate, superintendent of police, chief engineer, chief scientist, manager, etc. These are all administrative posts. That means this is the post where you make decisions. So decisions should reflect analytical ability, your capability to dissect complex situations, ethical competence, your understanding and application of ethical principles, decision-making skills. Decision should reflect the skills behind it, how you make judicious choices in difficult situations, and empathy and integrity. Now, if you understand this with practice, with experience, with a lot of examples which we share live in class, that way you'll significantly improve your case studies. So this is where, if you look at, this is the broader strategy. And in a UPSC Essential course, which is running in detail, like I'll be teaching you with 24 lectures on ethics. In detail, everything will be covered. Of course, there is mentorship as well for any doubt, always there. I will be the mentor also. Also, I'll be teaching other dimensions. Plus, there are full faculty there, expert in their fields, which will help you. So do look at the UPSC Essential course, which comes with 3 years mentorship, one-on-one mentorship. Well, for more such videos, strategy videos, keep watching upscprep.com. Thank you.